Hello everybody, it is Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 podcast. I am joined today by Yuto, he's been on a couple times before, and I am joined today by Xyzeon, or Speedroid Knight, the infamous Speedroid Knight, who gives us all the Tumblr translations from the Neo Arc Cradle forum. So, very excited to have these two on. We were going to have another guest, but unfortunately due to last-minute technical difficulties, that was not able to happen. So, for those of you guys that have watched this before, we go over 4 topics, and everyone has pre-topic set, so we're going to try our best to fill in the blanks for the person that was unable to join us. Hopefully he will be able to join one of my podcasts during a Yu-Gi-Oh! 6 podcast, which I'm sure he'll be able to. But anyway, we are going to be discussing 4 topics relevant to the Arc 5, 143, 144, and 145 summaries. We are recording this at, for me, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, so just keep that in mind because this might be released after 142 airs. We are recording this before episode 142, so there might be some questions that get vaguely answered or that get completely answered in 142 that we just don't have the knowledge of, so keep that in mind when you are watching this. We are recording this before 142, but here are the 4 topics. The first one, we're going to kick things off. Where are the Bracelet Girls? Are they alive? Are they dead? Do we think that they will be resurrected? Do we think they will be found? If so, how? Or will the series conclude with them not showing up? The second topic, why is Yuya traveling through the dimensions after 143? Episode 144 states that he is looking for Kurosaki Shun, but is that his only motive? Do we think that he's going to travel by himself, or will he travel with other Lancers, Shingo, Gangenzaka, Reiji? And the third topic, since Reiji seems to be the only one initially to remember what happened, do you think Dennis and Shun will have their memories of the past when they duel Yuya, or will Yuya have to remind them of their past adventures? That could be the reason why Shun is hostile towards Yuya, because he doesn't remember the past that they shared, or on the other hand, it could be the reason why Shun is hostile towards Yuya because he does remember what Yuya became and what Yuya caused. So that'll be an interesting debate. And the final topic, with Arc 5 mostly going to last 148 episodes, ending that last week of March that every spin-off has ended the last week of March, how will Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 come to an end? Will we have no final antagonist battle? Will we have no ceremonial duel? Do we think that all the loose ends are going to be tied, or are we worried that a lot of it might feel rushed? So we are going to get right into it. Before we get right into it, I'm going to let the two people that are on with me quickly introduce themselves, Yuto and Xyzeon. Yuto, if you want to give your quick overview first, and then Xyzeon, and then we will get on to the topics. Timestamps, by the way, will be down below in case any of these topics maybe seem more interesting than another, but hopefully you play this in your car on a long drive, or you play it while you're grinding in a video game, and you enjoy 45 minutes of good Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 spoiler talk. So Yuto, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, sup? I've been here this is my 3rd podcast, and I'm really grateful to be here, so thank you.
You are welcome. Xyzeon, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, it's me, Xyzeon, the one who posts the DMC's spoilers that he gratefully translates for us. You can find me on Twitter or Tumblr, which is where I mostly do my activities. And if you want to chat about Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, anything, I'm there.
Definitely check both of them out. All of their stuff is going to be linked down below. So again, check both of them out. Really awesome people. And we are going to get right into it. The first topic, and I will be leading it. I feel like I never lead one of these podcasts, so it'll be interesting. Where are the Bracelet Girls? Are they alive? Are they dead? So here's my thoughts on it. I went on the record, I think last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, saying that if Rei didn't duel, it would be a huge disappointment to me, and I stand by that. That is, looking back on it, going to be one of my biggest disappointments of Arc 5. I know she, quote-unquote, dueled through Reira. To me, it just wasn't good enough. I think with the build-up, she should have dueled, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's relevant to this. If the Bracelet Girls somehow do not show up by the time Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 ends, that is going to be a real disappointment for me, unless they do a really dark, messed up ending for Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, where I would kind of like that. I don't think they do that because at the end of the day, no, I don't consider Yu-Gi-Oh! A kid's show, but it's not like a murder mystery like CSI kind of TV show. I don't think they're going to have a very dark kind of ending. Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh! Does have dark elements and twisted elements, but to have an ending where everyone somehow gets killed and the world ends up getting destroyed, like a really apocalyptic ending, I don't think they would do that. If they did something like that, I would be okay with it because I think it would be interesting. I don't know how a majority of the fans would feel, but if they just ended it on kind of a positive note and all 4 Bracelet Girls do not show up at the end and have some closure with their introspective counterparts where, Yugo has closure, or Rin has closure with Yugo, Yuzu has closure with Yuya, I will be very, very disappointed. So currently, I do believe that the Bracelet Girls are gone. I don't believe they're in any dimension. I really do believe that they're gone. Now, whether they're dead, I guess you could kind of say that. I do think they're going to get resurrected, and here's how I think they're going to do it. I think, and this is going to sound kind of, fan fiction-y, but I think at this point, knowing all we do as Arc 5 fans, I think the only way this is going to work is if they introduce a new concept. And what I mean by that is, there's nothing in this current universe that makes me convinced that, oh, this is how they're going to get the girls back, or, oh yeah, they're going to get the girls back doing this. So what I think might happen is they're going to get to the fusion dimension where Yuya hopefully sees Shun physically assaulting Akaba Leo, and he's going to duel Shun, he's going to beat Shun, and then maybe he's going to confront Leo, and Leo's going to say, I've been working on a device to get everyone back, to fix everything, or to, somehow get the evil spirit out of Reira. And what I mean by that is I believe that there still is, another entity there, fifth antagonist. Whether that theory is true or not, these summaries don't really support that theory. But by defeating that antagonist, the world will be back to normal. Something along those lines. And maybe at the end this is an illusion, and Akaba Leo knows that, and Akaba Reiji knows that, and that's why Reiji is trying to get Yuya to go to Academia for whatever reason, because maybe he knows that Yuya is the only one that can defeat this darkness. And maybe Yuya has to be merged with his counterparts, and we'll see Zark to go against this darkness or something along those lines. And so Akaba Leo is going to create technology, new technology that we don't know already exists, that is going to be able to extract this evil entity from Reira, because the show can't end with Reira staying as an infant and the evil spirit within him, right? That's just way too... They're not going to be able to... We're going to be left with so many questions if that's the case, like what will become of Reira when he gets older? Does Reira have 4 counterparts, which he should, because he had the bracelets on, and if it was the bracelets that split Zark and split Rei back the first time the world split, theoretically shouldn't it have happened with Reira? So maybe Reira's going to become one, and, the 4 Reira counterparts, something along those lines. I think we're going to see a new concept, and I think once Yuya, or once Zark, Yuya along with his 3 other U-boys, defeats this entity that Leo is going to be able to extract somehow using technology, or it's going to happen one way or another. I think that will happen in maybe 148. Maybe we'll have a 1-hour special so that Arc 5 will go 149 episodes. And once that happens, I do believe that the Bracelet Girls will be revived. The world will kind of go back to normal. Reira could be a permanent death. And I know that seems kind of dark because he is a kid, but I think of 5Ds. I think of the, Bruno. It's not unheard of for lovable characters or characters that fans shouldn't hate. No one should have really hated Bruno. I don't think anyone hated Bruno, honestly, and his death that scene was one of the greatest emotional scenes Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever done, and that was a permanent death. So it's not unheard of for innocent characters, so to speak, to have permanent deaths. So Reira could be a permanent death, but I think the last episode, we will have the Bracelet Girls back. I think that's how they will be resurrected. I don't think they exist right now. I know there's... Again, this could be completely null and void if in 142 later tonight, which I'm going to try to get this podcast out before 142, if Rin speaks and she's in like some weird other world, and that kind of says that Rin is alive, because we know all the Bracelet Girls except Serena are speaking. We know Yuzu's speaking in 143. So it could become null and void based on what happens in 142, but that's personally what I think. I don't think the series is going to end without them showing up. Yes, they were underused, and yes, I think they just had so much more potential, and it's really a shame that they never reached their potential. But to say that they're not going to be used at all or come back by the time the series ends, I think is ludicrous. It's something that I even flirted with that idea for a little bit. I just don't think it'll happen, but that's just my opinion on it. Yuto, do you have anything that you, and of course you guys in the comments section below, hopefully you guys, will comment down below because we will talk to you down there. But Yuto, do you have anything you want to add about the fates of Yuzu, Rin, Serena, or Ruri?
Ruri, that name. Wait, do I know her? Okay, so on serious note, so the bracelet girls, we know that they're non-existent in the standard dimension since no one knows who Yuzu is. So what I want is the bracelet girls to come back because they're they made a really impact of the show. And if they're going to end the show without the bracelet girls or just going to forget completely about them, that's ludicrous, like Dylan said. So I think they'll be resurrected because that's really a bad move if they're not going to show the bracelet girls. I don't know how they're going to show it, but right now we don't know. Reira is the only connection to the bracelet girls we have right now. So maybe if Reira somehow gets egg-out, in the summary, Yuya has to bring back Reira's smile, maybe that'll bring back Rei and the bracelet girls. So I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure they're going to show up. It's just that we don't know how they're going to show up. So it's a good mystery, but at the same time, because of the lack of development Arc 5 gave us and then all the disappointments, I'm not really sure how I should be feeling about this because they could literally do it without them. So yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
We have mixed feelings about this.
Yeah, it'll just be very, very interesting to see what happens. But hopefully, great insight, Yuto, and hopefully you guys will give us some of your insight down below. How do you think that this will come to fruition? Of course, if you want to cheat a little bit and wait until after 142, that episode could give us some answers. But yeah, we are going to move on. So thank you, Yuto, and thank you I'm thanking myself. That's just arrogant. But we're going to move on to the second topic. So we're going to start with you, Xyzeon. Why is Yuya traveling through the dimensions after 143? 144 states that he is looking for Shun, but is that his only motive? Kind of a two-parter. Do you also think that he's going to travel by himself? Or will he travel with other Lancers like Shingo, Gangenzago, or Reiji? Xyzeon, the floor is yours.
Alright, well, I'm thinking either two or probably three reasons is he's going as first. He's probably going in search of, again, the girls, see if what's up or if Shu knows anything about it. Or, I'm thinking since you mentioned before that possibly the boys are no longer part of Yuya, he's probably going in search of the boys also, or see any trace of them, and they could be the key to bringing the girls back also. I mean, there's a connection between the counterparts that I'm sure they're trying. They gotta possibly use it to bring the girls back or the boys, either vice versa. I'm thinking their relationship with each other could play a part in this. I mean, if you really think about it. Or maybe he's going to, again, egg out all the dimensions, bring back their smiles because of what happened, if they do not remember. That's possibly what I think, but it's at least likely what I think. The other two possibilities are what I think could possibly happen.
Mm-hmm. No, that's definitely... Now, do you think that he's going to go by himself?
I'd like to think that he is not, and he's going with the Lancers, but then again, the summaries do not hint at him going with Lancers or with anyone at all. But then again, they're really vague. They could probably mention non-important things, as they've always have, but I'm thinking he's probably going alone. I'd like to think that, but then again, it could go either way, I think. Since the Lancers also played a part in everything that happened, it wasn't just Yuya, it was Shingo. All the other Lancers had their relationships with the other characters from the other dimensions. Also, you see Shun and Crow really hit it off. I'm thinking that they could possibly help Yuya out, so that's why I think that it's possible that they could be coming along also.
Yeah, no, great insight. So my opinion on it is, it'd be kind of weird to see Yuya go alone, but honestly, I would want him to go alone, and here's my reasoning for that. I'd want him to go alone because if he goes with Reiji, I'd want him to go with, if he went with anyone, I'd want him to just go with Reiji. If he goes with Shingo and Gangenzaka and those two, and maybe Tsukikage, what are they going to do? They're just going to stand there and watch, and I feel like they've done that the whole show at this point. At this point, just let Yuya do it himself, because there's like, that's just to me, that's like the best way that, that's just to me the best way to do it, because you can just focus on Yuya, you don't have to focus about, you can increase Yuya's development with Dennis, because I'm very excited for these duels between Yuya and Dennis and Yuya and Shun. Those are two duels that I know you're very excited for, Speedroid, and I'm very excited for as well, and I think most of the community is very excited for those two duels. Now, why is he traveling through the dimensions? I don't think the only reason is Shun. I think there are other reasons here. I think it could be for the Bracelet Girls. I think it also could be for Yuto, that he knows Yuto might be in Heartland, and because of that, he's not only going to find Shun, but he's going to try and find Yuto. Maybe he's even going to try to find Ruri. I mean, who knows? Had a minor interaction with her, not really, and I think it was like 123, 124, one of those episodes, when he dueled her brainwashed with Serena. But so there's going to be multiple reasons. It just seems crazy to me that he's going to say, I got to go to Heartland, I have to find Shun. And that's that. Because also, a character that I would argue he had a greater bond with Shun than is Sora. So why wouldn't he be looking for Sora too in Fusion? And it's interesting that Sora's name is not even mentioned in these summaries, because he, if you really think about it, from the very beginning, played a very important role in all of this. So it's kind of interesting that his name is just completely gone. And they're not even going to Synchro unless they do in 146. It'd be actually really funny if they broke the fourth wall, because we know the Synchro arc has gotten a lot of controversy, and Yuya says something like, we've already spent enough time in Synchro. I don't think the fans enjoyed that last time, and then they skip over Synchro because of that. That would be hilarious. Obviously they're not going to do that, but it would be really cool if they did break the fourth wall like that. But it's bizarre that they are, and the reason that they're not going to Synchro could be because of what the fans, all of the controversy that they took too long there, which is something that I do believe that arc kind of did drag on. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. We are going to move on to the third topic, but before we do that, is there anything you want to quickly add to this, Yuto?
So last time I checked, I was inside Yuya. So what I wanted to add was that Yuya is probably going to travel alone, because right now we only have 6 episodes, and to have Shingo and Gongensaka go with Yuya is most not going to happen due to the episode limit, and like they never really focused on Shingo and Gongensaka. Why would they do it right now? Also, I'm kind of excited for Dennis, since Dennis was a well-developed character, and I think the duel was going to be pretty amazing. And I think all the characters have basically fragments of some memories, of not all the memories, but some of them. So that's why Shun might be remembering like all the horrible memories and all the fragments. So that's why he might be angry at Yuya. And probably in Synchro, there really isn't that much of characters that are really rememberable, unless the legacy characters. But from what I've seen, we're not seeing Kaito. None of the legacy characters are mentioned in the summary. So I don't know if they're actually going to do Synchro. Maybe enjoy Chojiro. Maybe Yuya might meet him, but I don't know. It's pretty mysterious at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And the other issue that you just kind of alluded to is there's just so many freaking characters, so many characters, that there's just no way they're going to be able to satisfy every single character's conclusion, this late in the show at least. I mean, if they were able to do it, it would be absolutely incredible. But we're going to move on. Great insight there, and hopefully you guys will leave your comments down below, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the podcast number 8 so far. So Yuto, we're going to just kick it right back with you. Since Reiji seems to be initially the only one to remember what happened, it most likely is that he told Himeka and Tsukikage, and that's why they had their memories. That's not confirmed, but that's what a lot of people are assuming. Do we think here that Dennis and Shun will have their memories of the past when they duel Yuya? Or will Yuya have to remind them of the past adventures the same way Tsukikage had to remind Yuya, Gangenzaka, and Shingo? Yuto, what do you think about that?
Okay, so insight I gave from number 2 was that they'll probably have fragments of the memories. That's why Shun is going berserk and Yuya has to duel Shun. So I'm pretty sure all of them will regain all of their memories for the better or maybe for the worse when they duel Yuya, because Shun would be pretty angry since I'm gone and Rui is gone. So, and then also Yuya or Zark was the main cause of the reason why like his friends are gone. So Shun must be probably in distress. And I guess Shun will like return as their nakama, but like right now, Shun is probably the most thing I'm really hyped for, and also Dennis, since Dennis was the most well-developed character out of all the Arc 5 series, which I led to believe. And the fact that Dennis is back is, I'm pretty excited also, because these two major characters I really like. So I guess I'm really confused about how Reggie remembers all of these things, and I think even Yusho kind of remembers what happened, or maybe Reggie informed what happened to Yusho, and so it's pretty interesting. But at the same time, it's in a big mess, because like all these ideas, like how does these characters remember and how does some characters don't remember their memories? We don't know. So it's pretty interesting at the same time, but it's also somewhat lacking and somewhat in a mess.
Mm-hmm. That's very well said. And yeah, that's something that hopefully does get expanded on, but with how much they have to cover, who really knows at this late in the show? But it's funny, Xyzeon, I'm going to turn it to you in a second, but it's funny that in this kind of universe, Kurosaki Shun has nothing to live for. Akuba Leo has nothing to live for, right? I mean, these two, literally, Shun's entire motives was based around his sister, and he was with his best friend, and it was really because of Yuto that he didn't go crazy in the early stages of the show. And he, don't get me wrong, he went crazy, but he didn't go, like, over the top crazy, where he was about to duel Masami, and he was, thought that Yuzu was... I mean, he wasn't in a great state of mind. Yuto was really the one who kind of saved him and I think kept him sane. But now both of those characters are just gone. Akuba Leo, he's got to be just in complete distress. So it's going to be very interesting to see how those characters act in 145. Very hyped for that because I do love Shun too. Xyzeon, gonna go to you. What do you think? Do you think that Dennis and Shun will have their memories, or will Yuya have to remind them?
Well, I do think that, like Yuto said before, that they, just like Leo, they remember bits and pieces. I'm guessing Dennis probably remembers bits and pieces, and the reason I think he is in Heartland is because he probably knows of what he did and is trying to redeem himself in a way. And what better way than entertainment dueling, because that's what he loves to do and what he got inspiration from. And since Heartland seems to still not remember what happened and probably doesn't remember what Yuya came to do, or because we know that the Academia soldiers helped out, but I'm guessing that the citizens are probably the ones that do not remember, because they probably do not remember the reconciliation that happened between them. So I'm guessing that's probably why the summary implies that they're still in distress, still distraught over what happened. And again, and over with Shun, I'm guessing that he could still be, he could still remember because he still grieves over Yuto, and obviously if he's grieving over Yuto, he obviously knows what happened to him back in Standard when he was accusing Yuya of doing something with Yuto. He thought he probably did something to him, or he questioned him where's Yuto? Where is he? I'm guessing that Shun forgot what happened up to the point where Yuya fused with Yuto. That point where he was watching via with Reiji the duel that was ensuing. After that point, that's probably when he forgot. He only probably has his memories up to that point and doesn't remember his time as a Lancer, possibly. And that's what I think personally on what if they do remember or not. And like I said, that's that's what I think so far.
I'd like that idea a lot. Pre-Lancer Shun is the best Shun in my opinion. So if he doesn't remember anything from that, I didn't even kind of think of that possibility. That would be really cool. And so like because remember it was Yuto leaving Yuya, as you kind of hinted at, that kind of calmed Shun down and was like, all right, Yuto is inside Yuya, whatever. Yuya didn't do anything harmful. If Yuto isn't there to calm Shun down, that is a whole nother dragon, a whole nother monster to slay. And that's just dragons. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh! Corny reference. But no, I like that a lot, Xyzeon. So, yeah, really good insight from both of you there. Yuto, is there anything you just want to quickly go over?
So basically, to calm Shun down, I had to punch him, basically, which 4K media would censor also. So one thing I wanted to add on Dylan's, was that Dennis has also nothing to live for because he committed suicide because he betrayed everyone. He betrayed Academia at the last moment. He betrayed the Lancers. He had nothing to live for. So if he remembers that, and all the shards of the memories will probably stab him in the heart because he did all these horrible things, and he also betrayed his own dimension, that he would have nothing to live for. So he must be probably depressed. So Yuya has to probably lift his spirits. That's why he's joining Yuya to like bring smiles to everyone. So yeah, he committed suicide. So it's pretty shocking.
It is, and I think that's something that kind of gets overlooked. That is a really, really dark, mature concept that they did with that with that scene. And I'm doing, when Arc 5 ends, a few different top 10 lists, and top 10 darkest moments will be a list that I do. And if anyone is listening up to this point, probably like 30 minutes into the podcast, a little spoiler, that will definitely be on that top 10 list, just because that concept is the fact that they actually had a character kill himself because he had nothing to live for. Very, very dark. So it's interesting because Yuya doesn't know that happened, though. Yuya is completely unaware of that. No one told Yuya. It was never spoken of again after it happened. And honestly, do you blame Asuka, Kaito, or Yusha? Why are you going to bring something like that up, especially with so many other things going on? But something like that, very, very dark. And a lot of people, I think, do forget just that they went there, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually did go to that concept, which is pretty crazy. But some great insight from Yuto, some great insight from Xyzeon, and we are going to move on to the final topic, and that is, with Arc 5 most likely going to last 148 episodes, how do we think this show will end? Will there be no final antagonist battle, no ceremonial duel? Do we think that all the loose ends will be tied, or are you worried a lot of it might feel rushed? Yuto, we're going to start with you.
Oh, okay. So basically, every series had a ceremonial duel at the end after the final villain battle. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Atem battled Zork, and then they had a ceremonial duel of Yugi versus Atem. In GX, we had Judai versus Darkness, and then after that, we had the ceremonial duel, Judai versus Muto Yugi, and Atem. And then in 5Ds, we had Zone versus Yusei, and then after that, the ceremonial duel of Yusei versus Jack. And then in Zexal, we had Yuma versus Shark as a Barian, and then after that, we had the ceremonial duel, Astro versus Yuma. So I'm expecting a ceremonial duel, but probably Yuya versus Reggie, and finally Yuya wins, because Reggie almost has zero losses in the entire Arc 5 universe. I mean, you could say Zark somehow beat Reggie a bit. I mean, I really skimmed through the episode, so I don't really know what really happened. But yeah, I kind of want Reggie to have a loss because he's almost too perfect in the show.
It's interesting. Let me just before you get on to your next point, Reggie technically did not lose against Zark. Technically, no one lost against Zark because that whole team, that was a team effort that defeated Zark. So technically, the team of Edo, Sora, Kaito, Shun, Gangenzaga, Jack, Shingo, Crow, Reiji, Reira, Ray, all defeated Zark. All of them technically defeated Zark. Realistically, maybe not, but technically speaking, that was like an 11-on-1 duel where the team of 11 defeated Zark. But also technically speaking, Reiji did lose to Yuya the first time they versed. He did realistically, again, there's a different, realistically is like, alright, and, you know, if the duel played out, he didn't really lose to Yuya, but technically, he did lose to Yuya, so he does have a loss there, but I know what you mean, a loss where he actually, you know, loses, and he loses all of his life points. It did happen in the duel against Zark, but, you know, technically, he didn't lose because the team won, but I see what you're saying there, Yuto.
Okay, and also, this is the first series where because every Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, after the main villain versus the main character duel, they always went right to the ceremonial battle. This one, however, we have 6 episodes, and Yu-Gi-Oh's doing all these other characters, and they're giving more character development. But then in 6 episodes, to get this much character development to like Shun, Dennis, and who knows other characters, it's really rushed. So I'm really worried about that. Unless they extended Arc 5 a bit and made this into another arc, I would be actually kind of happy, because rather than watching Arc 5 and see how it plays out and all the misses, they fix it, it would be much better than having it in 6 episodes where they rush everything. That'll make the fans pretty distressed and pretty disappointed again.
If they extended Arc 5 to like 152, 156 episodes only by another month or 2 months, I'd feel a lot more comfortable about them concluding the show and wrapping the show up really well, personally. So I agree with that. But will it happen? We don't know. Even if they do an hour special for that last week in March, it's still only 149 episodes. It's still only 4 more episodes after this Yuya Shun duel. So is there enough time? Who knows? Xyzeon, do you have anything that I know you weren't on for this topic, but do you have any thoughts that you just want to add real quick?
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree in certain points. I am concerned that it's going to be rushed, and I do hope that they do a 2-hour special, because, you know, there's so much that needs to be explained and done. At this point where Shun is, you know, there's no mention of the girls. Nothing that really pops out that tells you that they're going to bring the girls back and anything like that. So yeah, I am worried that they'll sort of try to rush everything, because, you know, like you said, we only have a few episodes left, 4. You know, it's not going to be easy to squeeze so much in so little time.
Yeah, it's just funny because after the 145 episode, if we go by the basis that, you know, each episode's another half an hour and it ends the last week of March, there is only 3 episodes after 145. How the heck are they going to be able to pull it off? There's no way. This show either has to get extended, or it's funny. I don't know if you meant to say 1 hour special, Xyzeon, or 2 hour special.
Yes.
Yeah, but it'd be funny if they actually did a 2 hour special and they just banged out like 4 episodes in one go. That would actually be awesome if they did that.
Yeah, they could actually do it 1 week an hour special and the other week another hour special. It's what they did with I know it's completely unrelated, but it's what they did with Sun and Moon. They did two 1 hour specials. 1 week, and then the next week another 1 hour special. So that's, if I'm correct, that's what I remember. They could do that, but I kind of doubt it, since, you know, it's never happened before, but I kind of hope it does happen.
I hope it does too, and yeah, I know Yu-Gi-Oh! They've never done it back to back like that, but you know what? Why not? I mean, if it means 2 extra episodes and we get to 150, that could be enough time to conclude everything, because if you figure the final antagonist battle starts in 146. All right, it starts in 146. There's no way it's going to be a 1 episode. No final antagonist battle has ever been a 1 episode duel. So if you say, all right, 2 episodes for that battle, 146, 147, then we're at 148. We're now at the very last possible day in March that Arc 5 can air, unless they do a 1 hour special. If 148 is the ceremonial duel, first of all, no ceremonial duel has only been 1 episode or less. So at some point, there's going to be a new standard or a new thing set here. And maybe there won't be a main villain battle. Maybe there won't be a ceremonial duel. And 148, if there is a ceremonial duel, you figure that duel, if it's only 1 episode, is going to take up most of the episode. So then where is the closure with all of these characters? Where is, like with 5Ds, the last last half of the final episode, we had, Yusei and Aki say goodbye. We had all these flash forwards and all these great, kind of closure moments. We saw Jack and Crow were about to face off, years later in this tournament. We had, and Zexel, they left on a cliffhanger. GX kind of left ambiguous, not more so wondering the fates of everyone else, in the future, but more so wondering what happened in that Yugi and Judai duel. But I just don't know. There's so many great characters in this universe, in this Arc 5 universe, that I want closure, and that's my number one concern. I'd rather the 148 episode not have a ceremonial duel and just have interaction between different characters, everyone saying goodbye and going on their future paths or something along those lines. That's what I'd personally like to see, but I just don't know. I really don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens, but yeah. Do you have anything you want to add, Xyzeon?
Well, one little thing I'd like to add is, the director did mention that the ending would be exciting, an exciting ending. He did mention it in an interview, I believe. Not in those exact words, but he did imply that there would be a good ending. Not probably good to our standards, but he did imply that it'd be something great. But I don't know, honestly.
He did. Was he hinting at a Yuya Yusho duel in that same interview?
I do not remember, since I've seen a lot of scans, a lot of interviews. But people, from what I've seen, people say they do agree that it could be a Yusho and Yuya duel, mainly because of the ending, or the opening. Sorry, the opening 6. That they think that it's possible.
Yeah, which definitely makes sense. Personally, I would just rather see interaction for an entire episode if that's how they were going to end it, unless it goes 150 episodes, and then you can do in 148 and 149 a 2-episode ceremonial battle, and then in 150, or if it only goes to 148, and the first half of 149 ceremonial, and then 149 second half, you have all the, Yuya and Yuzu saying goodbye, Ruri and Yuto and Shun all saying goodbye, however they're going to end it. I'd interesting to see how they write off Yuri's character. I'm very interested to see that.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be interesting. We're about to wrap things up. Any last final thoughts? Xyzeon, do you have any last final thoughts?
Nope. Not really. I do agree on your point at the end. I do prefer. I would prefer more interaction at least at the second half of the last episode, or the whole episode in general. That'd be better than a ceremonial duel.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of fans do feel that way. So great. Yuto, anything you want to add before we wrap things up?
So for the ending, for all the Yu-Gi-Oh endings, I was really disappointed on Judai's ending and 5D's ending. I just really didn't like them. It just really didn't click. I think the only ending I really liked was DM, but then DM's true ending was Dark Side of Dimensions, for the manga. And for Zexel's ending was okay. So I don't know how they're going to end Arc 5. But also, I know Yu-Gi-Oh's really, really bad with romance. But then at least this time, Yuya actually loves Yuzu. We can actually see that. Because this time the main character is clueless, but actually somewhat not clueless about the romance. Because he knows he has some feelings of Yuzu, or that's really hinted at it. So I kind of want a bit more interaction if Yuzu does come back. So that's what I kind of want. With all the other U-boys, with me and Ruri, Rin and Yugo, or maybe actually not Yuri and Serena. I don't think they know each other, though. But yeah, that's all I have to add.
Yeah, romance and Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't go well hand in hand. I'm not really a religious watcher of Pokemon. I have a good friend who watches all of Pokemon, and I follow Dane who does some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I follow his Pokemon reviews, so I stay up to date with what's going on, and I sometimes watch the end of that Ash Shota battle, because I really do love that ending of that battle. But if all I'm gonna say is, if in Pokemon you can have Serena and Ash kissing to end that anime and give the fans what they want there, and you've never been able to do it in Yu-Gi-Oh! In 5Ds, Aki and Yusei clearly hookup and they just don't show it, at least in my opinion. I know some people will disagree with me there. So if Pokemon can do it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Can do it too. We'll see if they do it. I know their romance has been questionable at best, but I think a lot of people, if they just showed a scene similar to the one they showed at the end of Pokemon X, Y, and Z with Yuya and Yuzu, or with Ruri and Rin, or Ruri and Rin, Jesus, or with Ruri and Yuto, Ruri and Rin, I think a lot of people would be happy. So if that's how they do it, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, we made do, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. I think it was a very good podcast. Xyzeon and Yuto, you both were great. Please check both of them out. All their stuff will be down below. Please give them a follow. And please comment all your thoughts about any topics we spoke of, about any theories that you have in mind about how this show is going to end. How do you want this show to end? Are you at this point just waiting for Yu-Gi-Oh! 6? Is there something that Arc 5 can do that will make this your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Show? Is it already your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Show? Anything you guys want to talk about, I will, as always, try to answer as many comments as I can. But Yuto and Xyzeon, they already gave their plug. I'm letting people give their shameless plugs in the beginning now, trying to change that style and instead of the ending. But anyway, guys, I really, really hope you enjoyed podcast number 8. It will be a very exciting month of February, and 145 is the first week of March. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I give this spiel every time. We are only 3 people in a much, much larger community. It is really you guys sitting at home watching videos like this for 40, 45 minutes and listening to what we have to say that really makes this community thrive and really gives me and Yuto and Xyzeon and everyone who comes on these podcasts the inspiration to do these, because this community really is, it really is tremendous. So I just cannot thank you guys enough, and I wanted to thank you guys, as always, for just sticking around for this long and listening to us ramble on about Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 for the second last time. There will probably be only one more Arc 5 podcast, which is kind of sad to think about. But anyway, guys, have a great day. I will talk to you guys down below. Thank you for watching.